It's the first episode. I'm not sure what to call it yet, but if you have any suggestions, let me know in the comments. This is a trigger warning. This episode contains suicide and violence. If that is hard for you to listen to, I completely understand. Come back in the next video. Let me know in the comments if you have any topics you want me to talk about. In 1997, authorities discovered the body and remains of 39 people inside of a mansion. These people had been covered by purple sheets of cloth, and they were wearing white Nike sneakers. Their pockets were full of $5 bills and rolls of quarters. Today, we're going to talk about the Heaven's Gate suicides. The toxicology report showed that all 39 victims had eaten applesauce or pudding mixed with phenobarbital. Phenobarbital is used to prevent and control seizures in people with epilepsy. Additionally, it can be used to treat anxiety. Investigators also said that these victims had consumed vodka. Not all of the victims consumed alcohol, only 33 did. These people were understood to be members of a suicide cult known as Heaven's Gate. Heaven's Gate was a cult that practiced and believed in evangelical Christianity, New Age practices, and even UFOs. The New Age movement spread during the 70s and 80s and believed in love and light, and with practices of transformational healing. The leader of Heaven's Gate was Marshall Herff Applewhite. As a child, Marshall was a very religious child. During his childhood, it is speculated that he had a rough relationship with his father. His father was a minister. Apparently, Applewhite's childhood showed no significant signs of foreshadowing his future tragic end, meaning there was no particular trauma that might have caused this behavior that led to his untimely death. He was a perfect student, and he was even a talented singer. However, it is speculated that he struggled with his sexuality. The moment that ultimately led to his death was the origin of Heaven's Gate. In 1972, a nurse named Bonnie Lou Nettles met Applewhite, a seminary dropout. Both Bonnie and Marshall were experiencing a spiritual crisis. Bonnie was going through a divorce, and Marshall felt like God wanted more from him, a deeper purpose he needed to fulfill. Both Bonnie and Marshall were like spiritual soulmates. As I said before, the two main parts of Heaven's Gates were the New Age movements, which Bonnie practiced, and the Christianity, which Marshall sought out. While Bonnie believed in spirit guides and practiced astrology and yoga, Marshall read and practiced the Bible, particularly the book of Revelation, which is full of prophecies of the end of the world. Both Bonnie and Marshall believed they received a revelation from God. They believed that when the Bible talks about God, Jesus, and angels, that it is really talking about aliens, otherwise known as extraterrestrial beings, that appeared to them as gods. They believed that in the end of days, the aliens will arrive in spaceships to destroy the earth and only save those who are truly faithful to God. By 1975, Bonnie and Marshall became figures of alternative spirituality in California and Oregon. They began teaching classes to share their message that this earthly life was a transitional realm where people learn to combat evil and transform into perfect students. And it worked. People showed up to learn about their ideas. They didn't actually call themselves Heaven's Gate. They called themselves the class. in which Bonnie and Marshall were the teachers. They found themselves receiving what they believed were divine revelations. These revelations led them to a profound conviction. They were aliens sent to Earth with a cosmic mission to prepare humanity for its ultimate fate. In a symbolic rebirth, they shed their earthly identities, adopting the names T and Do. The community they formed, known as the class, took on a monastic aura. Yeah, my bad. A distinctive aspect of their lifestyle was celibacy, and members were encouraged to wear unique attire reminiscent of the Star Trek uniforms. It's important to note that labeling the class as a cult or characterizing its members as brainwashed is a point of contention. Dr. Benjamin Zeller, an expert in alternative religions, challenges these labels, arguing that such terms could be applied to any religion, which is technically true. I understand where he's coming from, but also not many religions find themselves believing in aliens, so I don't know. But according to Zeller, the class inhibited characteristics commonly associated with traditional religions, beliefs, practices, and rituals, and discussions about the fundamental aspects of existence. While their appearance and teachings might have been unconventional, Zeller suggests that using the terms like cult requires careful consideration. They acted like a religion, says Zeller. They had beliefs and practices, rituals and prayers. They talked about the meaning of life, the end of the world, and what happened after death. They looked like a religion, but like some other religions, they had a teaching which I would not promote or accept. After Bonnie Nettles died, everything changed. In 1985, Bonnie Nettles, one of the founders, passed away from cancer. Her death shattered the foundation of the group's belief system, challenging the notion that members would experience a physical transformation into perfect beings while still alive. Following Nettles' death, a true ideology emerged within the group. Members would need to shed their imperfect human bodies. This would supposedly pave the way for their consciousness to transfer into the next level, alien body. Like T and Do, the group increasingly identified themselves as alien visitors temporarily inhabiting human forms. As with many fringe groups, elaborate conspiracy theories took root. The members believed in a government, media, corporate alliance, keeping the truth hidden from the public. This included the conviction that space aliens were real and that the government was collaborating with malevolent extraterrestrial beings known as the Luciferians. By the early 1990s, leader Marshall Applewhite began posting online writings, sharing their beliefs on Usenet message boards and their own website, Heaven's Gate. The response was overwhelmingly negative, leading the group to abandon the idea of convicting the world of impending cosmic event. Instead, they turned over their attention to signs of extraterrestrial arrival, finding significance in the 1995 discovery of the Hale-Bopp comet. Applewhite believed the comet concealed a companion alien spacecraft. He convinced the group that when Hale-Bopp arrived, it would be their ticket to transcend Earth. On March 22nd and 23rd, 1997, Heaven's Gate members took to what they believed was the final step to escape Earth's destruction. In the tragic turn of events, 39 people, including Applewhite, took their own lives, with the hope that their consciousness would ascend to the heavens and meet the passing spaceships. Now let's dive into the disturbing truth of Heaven's Gate cult. An anonymous caller, Rio D'Angelo, a surviving member who had left the group after 3 years, told the world about the tragic truth of the Heaven's Gate cult. The media was frantic to learn more about what had really happened. D'Angelo stated in an interview that he had loved the people of Heaven's Gate. They lived like they were in a monastery. Everyone was interested in self-advancement. They strove to establish a new religious movement, actively recruiting followers, promising possible members the opportunity to attain purity and receive an invitation to heaven. They enticed individuals to join their ranks. As the years went on, Bonnie and Marshall created stranger and stricter rules on their followers. These rules included them needing to cut off all ties with family and friends, as well as encouraging asexuality. In the later stages, certain members of the group underwent castration. I know this was a short episode, but thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye.